Sales revenue, share, margin, they tell us how we're performing today. But high performance account management is all about growing long-term profitable business. So this means we have to have a value for measure for the future. We want to be able to ensure that we've got success next year and the year beyond. We want to measure our likely future business in terms of revenue, share, and margin. So to do this, we have to measure all the potential business we've identified and which we plan to win. Now, we can call this our pipeline, but if we do this, then we have to be sure that we don't confuse it with the old-fashioned sales idea of a pipeline, which is frankly just a large, rather vague number written down to satisfy a senior manager, but without any real clarity about what it is or why we would ever win it. So it's really important for high performance account management to have a real clear understanding of what our pipeline is. So to qualify as part of the key account pipeline, we must be able to see the potential business clearly described and measured and valued. And you have to be able to show how you will work towards a customer business case and an action plan. Now, we'll talk more about this in the growth strategy modules, but when I say business case, I mean you need to be able to explain why you expect to win this additional business by demonstrating that you'll make the customer better off. In order to give some clarity to the pipeline and to help you later in the growth planning, it might also be useful to think about the typical steps you go through to win the growth opportunities which you identified as part of your pipeline. Now, you don't have to do this if you press for time, certainly, but most managers do find it very useful in helping their thinking later. So if you do decide to do this, then it's a relatively straightforward process of listing the main steps you expect to work through between identifying the growth opportunity and then winning the opportunity. It's easiest to show you with a little example. So let's talk about an example from one account manager who identified 8 steps in her typical process. The actual number of steps, of course, is going to vary with the industry, your interpretation, and really the number of steps is not important. What's more important is that you think through your pipeline development process. So in this example, the 8 steps identified by the account manager were defined as follows. The potential opportunity is identified based on the account manager's knowledge of the market and the account's situation and needs. And next, the account manager estimated the likely worth of the opportunity to ensure it would make sense to go after. And the account manager then tested her thinking with the relevant customer manager to confirm the concept and the likely worth, and to agree with the customer manager that it would be worthwhile to do the basic research to assess the opportunity and the specific value for the customer. So notice that she's not trying to sell the opportunity, not at this stage anyway, but instead she's engaging with the relevant customer manager to work out the measurable value for the customer. In other words, to figure out how the customer does actually become better off. And then next, she completes the research, determines the value both for her company and the customer, and then prepares the business case. We'll discuss this in rather more detail in the growth planning series, but for now, we just need to know that we have to be able to show the customer why it's going to be better off with our proposal. Finally, she makes the formal business case presentation and we hope gains agreement. In each case, she's then estimated the approximate time required at each step, and she's also estimated the approximate chances of winning by looking back over the last year or two and working out just how much of the identified business at each step she did actually win. This is interesting because it'll help you in the growth planning stage to work out how much potential new business you have to identify in order to be sure that you'll achieve the required growth. Again, we'll discuss this more in the growth planning modules. So you can see then there are 4 core measures: sales revenue, share, margin, and pipeline. So I'll leave you now to think about these steps in your pipeline process, make some notes in the workbook, and when we return, we'll start to look at measuring success drivers.